our friend Thomas Donohue. You are an ally of American Chamber Mexico, and it is an honor to have you here again. AmCham believes that NAFTA is and should continue being the promoter and provide legal certainty to investment flows between the three countries. While there has been progress along the first three negotiation rounds, now we are just about to start the fourth one. And it's the time for both the US Chamber and American Chamber to work even harder and closer.
The threat to North American free trade and to the North American Free Trade Agreement is a threat to our partnership, to our shared economic vibrancy, and clearly the national security and safety of all three nations. But no matter what happens, the U.S. business community isn't going anywhere. The trilateral commercial relationship is far too valuable to American business, workers, and our economic growth for us to retreat or to turn inward in any way. Negotiators have made real progress on a number of chapters, including customs, small business, competition policy, and digital trade. There are several poison pills, proposals still on the table that could doom this entire deal. One proposal is to impose a sunset clause, stipulating that the deal would terminate after 5 years unless all three parties agree that it should continue. We all know that certainty and stability are critical to successful trade relationships and necessary to foster a pro-investment environment that drives economic growth and job creation. This clause would achieve the opposite effect, that the trade balance is not only the wrong way to measure who's winning on trade, it's the wrong focus, and it's impossible to achieve without crippling all of our economies. Another counterproductive proposal is tightening the agreement's rules of origin. Under NAFTA, the rules of origin are already extremely tough. If the administration's proposal were to move forward, companies would cease trading under NAFTA and simply pay the generally low U.S. tariffs established under the rules of WTO. So the impact would be the opposite of what's intended. U.S. industry would source more imports from Asia and less from the U.S. ISDS is a long-standing mechanism for using neutral arbitration to resolve investment disputes. And then for the record, the United States of America has never lost one of those arguments. What are we talking about? Far from infringing on anyone's sovereignty, it ensures that investors are treated fairly and compensated in the event of some exploitation. U.S. negotiators are proposing a dollar-for-dollar opening of the North American procurement market. While this might appear to be pro-Buy America move at first glance, it would have the opposite effect. It would lead directly to reduced sales of made-in-U.S. products and harm American workers who make them. Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached a critical moment, and the Chamber has no choice but to ring the alarm bells. The United States could then reasonably expect trade retaliation, higher tariffs, broken supply chains, and potentially less cooperation on other priorities like anti-terrorism and anti-narcotics issues. And who would be hurt the most as a result? The very Americans that this administration seeks to put first. But because I want to be abundantly clear that the U.S. business community will stand up for an important agreement that makes North America stronger and more prosperous. I also want to be clear that the U.S. business community is committed to Mexico itself, and no matter what happens, we're not going anywhere. I want to thank AmCham Mexico for its efforts to highlight the value of U.S. investment in Mexico and to dispel misinformation that's harmful to both our economies and U.S. and Mexican workers alike. If we go out and reshape all of our free trade agreements around the world, we're going to be further into the hole we're now into. And that is one of the reasons we export a lot of cars out of Mexico and Canada is both of those countries have a lot more free trade agreements than we do. Isolation is a dumb idea. And I think if we work in the right way and get a good result on NAFTA, they'll take a little bit of different view of the rest of the world. If not, we'll be there.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Well,